Yeah, we can because we're winning. And so I expect an angry Houston team. And, boy, SMU comes in shorthanded. This is not what Tim Jankovich wanted, was to catch Houston when they're angry.
Yeah, they might have a rotation of about 6.5 players tonight, and one of those players is going to be on a minute count. And that's Jure Foster, who has the basketball. He's number 10 for SMU. An SMU team that has 3 straight losses. They've lost 8 of 9, and now an early foul on the aforementioned Jure Foster.
Well, Landon Gosling getting a start because of senior night, and a nice idea by Tim Jankovich. Go at him immediately and see how long Kelvin will keep him in the lineup, but a nice job playing post defense by Gosling.
Gosling his first start here from St. Edwards. It's his final season. Played basketball in Houston. Corey Davis Jr. got his man in the air. Air ball and rebound there by Fabian White.
SMU actually won the rebounding battle the first time these two teams played. But, man, in their last outing against Wichita State, they just got pounded on the boards.
Ray Foster, a senior from North Shore High School, the Houston suburb. He's got a lot of family in town. Getting the start tonight. 8 on the shot clock. Shagwa to Hunt, throws it down.
Terrific recognition by Shagwa. Houston does such a nice job. They always double team the post. Shagwa turned, reverse pivoted, and faced the lane. Very nice fundamental basketball by the big fella.
Brian Brady off the glass, the senior with his first bucket of the night.
That was interesting. We watched Tim Jankovich emphasize in practice, take away the 3. Kelvin Sampson comes out and goes, look, they're going to take away the 3. We've got to go inside to Brian Brady.
And this Houston defense priding itself. 3 on the shot clock. Mike for 3, and that's a big basket for SMU. Isaiah Mike, his last few games, just 1 of 14 from 3. He had about a 4-game stretch where he was hitting 70% from 3, and that's the first one going in tonight for Mike.
I had 15 points in the first meeting.
Brady strong on the rebound and the putback. Four early points for Brian Brady. Foster for 3.
Well, just his 7th 3-point field goal made of the season for Jure Foster.
Ray Foster coming off an injury, a sprained leg, a sprained knee, and he's back in the lineup, just his 2nd full game back in the starting lineup. Played 20 minutes, or fewer than 20 minutes in the last game against Wichita State.
Well, the staff told us he's going to be on a pitch count in this game, that he will not exceed 20 minutes in this game. What a great start offensively for SMU.
Jamal McMurray puts that one in, and with as thin as they are, he's a volume shooter. That volume might be in excess tonight here in Houston. Rebound here for Foster.
Well, if ever a team had a reason to come in playing loose and with house money, it is these Mustangs here this evening.
Shagwa no on the 3. Gosling with the rebound. Here's Galen Robinson. 97 career wins. That's 2nd all-time here at Houston. Finds White.
SMU's 2-3 zone there, giving that high post to Houston. That's the 3rd consecutive shot from that same spot on the floor. Fabian White has missed 2. Brian Brady has missed 1.
SMU team that has lost 8 of its last 9. 6 of those 9 losses, though, coming in single-digit fashion. Is this going the other way? It is. Foul on Faron Hunt. SMU with a 10-6 lead. Breon Brady. They've already clinched a first-round bye in the AAC tournament. They already clinched that. They can earn a 2 seed if they win their last couple of games, so 1 down, 1 to go, and if Houston beats Cincinnati this weekend. So that's how that can happen. But regardless, Cincinnati versus Houston coming up on Sunday for the 1 seed in the conference tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it builds up just to a perfect ending for the season. And you look, UCF was picked to win the American this year, so it's not a matter of Cincinnati looking past UCF. But, man, what a big, big win for UCF in that game tonight.
And if UCF does finish in second, then you could get a rematch of Houston and UCF in that conference championship game. And foul on Faron Hunt. That is his second team foul, number 3 for the Mustangs. Yeah, Houston just dominant right here at home. In fact, in other places at home as well. Hawthorne's Pavilion, H&P Arena, home of Texas Southern, and then the Fertitta Center. Coach Sampson talking about a couple of these seniors, whether it's Corey Davis or Breon Brady, started their home careers on the campus of Texas Southern. Yeah, and here they are now, the Fertitta Center.
You know, they have won 33 of their last 34 home games. And it's crazy. It's a testament to Kelvin Sampson and his staff. What they built without practice facilities and without an arena to have a 33-game home winning streak is absolutely remarkable.
Mike and Breon Brady not letting go of that basketball, but it will be Houston ball on the possession arrow. Kelvin Sampson, great to catch up with him today on senior day. Just says, I love these kids. There's something special, this bond that he has with this group.
You know, typically on senior night, you're worried about your kids being too emotional, right? Hey, the most emotional person in the whole stinking arena was Kelvin Sampson. He's out there, tears running down his face. His daughter looks at us and goes, I can't get him to smile. I said, well, you can't smile while you're crying, Lauren.
Well, he had to do it 4 separate times. 4 separate seniors walking up to him with the framed pictures and the family. And now they got to go play a basketball game. Davis, he's on the board.
Houston has got to keep pounding that ball inside. Needless to say, Tim Jankovic playing with 6.5 players. Boy, get somebody in foul trouble, and SMU is really in a jam.
Heavy minutes tonight going to be required. Here's some heavy lifting for the SMU Mustangs. Shagwa looking for Mike, but it's deflected. Here's Nate Hinton. They have some numbers. Nice inside feed to Brady.
Look, Houston is going to double team the post every single time the ball goes in. And it's not necessarily because they think Shagwa is a scoring threat, but they want to force turnovers, make the big guy have to make a decision with pressure.
That's 8 points for Brady. It's a 6-0 run. Jamal McMurray trying to put a stop to that. He can't. And that will be Houston basketball.
Well, Nate Hinton doing a nice job double teaming the post player, and then they get out and run, and Galen Robinson always with his head up. He will finish his career as one of the best assist men in the history of this program.
He's up there with someone else I know. Might be sitting to my right.
Let me tell you something. Galen Robinson has played with some good basketball players. Rob Gray last year, Corey Davis. Let me tell you something. You put that kid on the court with the 2 that I played with or the 5 that I played with, he'd have had 2,000 assists.
We got a foul on the floor. This is going to be Nate Hinton. Back to Galen Robinson, number 25 for Houston. Asked him today. Said, look, this is senior day. You're the hometown kid. from Houston. And as Kelvin Sampson said in the pregame introductions, said he bought into a vision when there was nothing there to see.
You couldn't take them to show them anything. You just have to bring recruits into the coach's office and talk about what it's going to be like. And let me tell you something. It may be senior night for Houston, but what a great start to this game offensively for SMU.
McMurray, a couple of field goals. He's gonna have to do a bunch of heavy lifting here tonight. He's got a 34-point game to his credit this year, but there's Armani Brooks for three. You do not have to be a senior to score on senior night. That is not a requirement. The junior buries the deep shot.
Look, if you're leaving Armani Brooks open, you did not pay attention in the scouting report.
72% of his shot attempts come from long range. He's got length. 7 20-point games this season.
Struggled on Saturday, just 1 for 5 behind the three-point line. And look, SMU does not want to play a fast tempo in this game.
Robinson gets tripped up there by William Douglas.
Armani Brooks has elite level distance. He is a tremendous catch and shoot player, and it doesn't really matter where he is on the floor. And surprisingly, not only is he one of the best three-point shooters, he's also the best rebounder for this Houston team, averaging 6 rebounds per game.
2 3-pointers away from 100 on the season for Armani Brooks, as Robinson will take him to a seat.
Anticipate that at every dead ball, somebody for Houston will be checking in. This is a very deep team, and they play a 10-man rotation, and Kelvin Sampson will be trying to create some fatigue in those black jerseys.
Three-pointer number 99 on the season for Armani Brooks.
One of just 3 players in the American Athletic Conference to be in the top 16 in scoring and rebounding.
Brooks defending Dixon. 7 on the shot clock. Here's McMurray. Spinning on Davis to Young, and he steps. And before you know it, that shot clock is under 10, and SMU is just trying to get into its offense. Houston with
this game.
3 or 4 men not requiring name tags.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
In attendance. Tillman Fertitta supplying a $20 million donation. Owner of the Houston Rockets. And Kelvin Sampson saying today that not sure that the facility gets done without his help. Davis for 3. McMurray tried to slip that one in there to Hunt, and it will stay SMU ball.
Jimmy Witt not playing in this game was the leading scorer the first time these two teams played, and he is not only their floor leader, but he is their ball handler. He's one of the best assist to turnover ratio guys in the American Athletic Conference, and so you look out there on the floor, and there's very few SMU Mustangs that are not upside down with Jimmy Witt sitting on the bench.
How about that? The witness there, that and his own logo there on the jacket. Styling, but not the uniform that they were hoping he would wear today. Nursing an AC joint sprain. No such issues for Armani Brooks.
It's going to be a tough decision for Tim Jankovich. How long do you stay in this 2-3 zone when you cannot match up with all of the Houston shooters?
15-3 run for Houston. Mike trying to throw that one down. He was met near the rim by Gresham, and there's a foul.
I don't think Isaiah Mike was close enough to the rim to finish that play, but it sure started out spectacularly. Holy smokes, did he go to the rim.
Be like Mike?
Yeah, man. It is not often that you can take the ball outside the three-point line and get all the way to the rim against this Houston team before you run into somebody.
Matt Dixon takes a seat. Isaiah Mike at the line. You look at what Brooks and Brady have done, outscoring SMU by themselves 17-14. This game has a chance of getting away from SMU. The Cougars just so deep. SMU pretty thin.
Yeah, that's Dejan Giroux's fault. Anytime a ball screen's coming for an on-the-ball screen, it is better to be late than early. If you're Dejan Giroux, you've got to wait until you hear those feet pop before you take off on the dribble.
That's 2 fouls there on Grisham. You look at the infirmary that SMU has going tonight. Jimmy Witt is out. C.J. White. So you got your point guard, your backup point guard, both out. Jere Foster's on a pitch count. And Everett Ray has been out for the season with an injury. Robinson, healthy.
C.J. White was expected to play, took a blow to the head in practice yesterday and is in the concussion protocol.
Kelvin Sampson didn't like the way his team got back on
position. They always are in passing lanes. They deflect a lot of passes, and that was a good timeout. Not necessarily Tim Jankovich didn't call it. Kelvin Sampson not happy with his team not getting back, but it was a good break for SMU to catch their breath.
Something Sampson stressed today in shoot around, just getting back the defensive transition. Not sure how you defend that. It's Breon Brady with the left hand.
Well, you just have to spread out on those shooters, and what made that basket work is Breon Brady's fake pass. He pass faked out to the perimeter to create that separation.
Another foul on Jere Foster. That is his second. He's on a minute count, but right now his foul count is up to 2.
Played 4 minutes of the game the first time these two teams met, and has not played since then until the game Sunday against Wichita State. Tim Jankovich telling us that he has only played 4 days of basketball in the last 6 weeks.
Didn't play the first 6 games of the year, then played 11, then missed the next 10 with that sprained knee. See him wearing that knee brace out there, as he has now sat the bench. Hinton finding some space.
Boy, I tell you what, Jankovich, at some point he's going to look up and say, we're just going to have to go man-to-man. And when you don't go very deep, you've already got 2 guys with 2 fouls in the first half. That is going to be a tough decision to make.
Houston's largest lead in this first half. It's 11. Shagwa faces a double team, and Hinton knocks that one out of bounds with 8 on the shot clock.
Now, Shagwa knew that double team was coming. He kept looking and looking and looking, and sure enough, it came.
Saturday, it's the final weekend of the regular season. 2 of the best games on ESPN. Number 4, Duke, facing number 3, North Carolina. Part 2 at 6 Eastern. Then it's Michigan and Michigan State in another big-time sequel. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app, so you can watch them anywhere. Foul here on Houston. Looking forward to Michigan and Michigan State. Rematch as Michigan State won the first meeting in Ann Arbor. A foul on Fabian White for Houston.
Ethan Shagwa had a double-double the first time these two teams played. The 12 rebounds, a career high. SMU staying in the 2-3 zone.
William Douglas, number 3 on the floor here for SMU, facing number 3 Brooks. Shagwa to the deck. Douglas with the basketball. Shagwa steps. Turnover number 9 for the Mustangs. And an 8-point lead for Houston.
It's a real dilemma for Tim Jankovic. Armani Brooks is just pouring in threes, and at some point, you got to think about, even though you don't have the depth, getting out of this 2-3 zone and matching up man-to-man.
Yeah, what's the downside of going to man with this lack of depth?
Well, the fatigue factor. You've already got 2 key players with 2 fouls. You don't want them to get their 3rd foul before halftime, but you also can't afford to let the game get away from you.
Breon Brady is halfway to his jersey number right now at 12 points. The senior on senior night leading the way. It's a 10-point lead for the Cougs. Shagwa for 3.
SMU only averages 11 turnovers per game. They already have 9. They are getting outscored 15-0 in the first half in points off turnovers.
Think about this SMU team and how dominant they used to be just a couple of short years ago. AP top 10 team in 4 of the last 6 seasons, couple of regular season conference tournament titles, but beset with injuries and sanctions, and here they are trying to make something of this season. McMurray buries the J.
Averages 18 points per game. He has been very good on the offensive end here in the first half. Look at that zone defense out there on the wings, how far they are spreading out and just opening up the middle.
Avalon Robinson, the senior. Asked Robinson today, a lot of seniors sometimes they can have there's too much emotion in senior night. What do you want tonight? What do you expect? Didn't say anything about points or the dunk that he had earlier. Just said, I want to play well enough just to get us a win. That's the PC way to put that. He's got a lot of family and folks in town. Alley-oop, no good. Mike off of his fingertips. Here comes Robinson. And another turnover.
2 turnovers in a row for Galen Robinson. Very uncharacteristic. You know, that's the tough thing about senior night, right? And you and I were talking about, in this age of social media, it seems to be magnified. These kids are tweeting out, last time down the tunnel, and last time I warm up, and last time I run out to the fight song. And
last time I tweet about running out to the fight song.
Yeah, that's right. If you're Kellen Sampson, you're like, okay, let's get past that and start playing basketball.
Goes out of bounds.
Turnovers just killing SMU.
And Ted Valentine points it is SMU ball, but I think we're going to get a correction here as Don Daly talks to him as well. Looked like that ball hit Kelvin Sampson.
That's the right call. Nice piece of officiating. Ted Valentine deferring to Don Daly, who had a better angle on it.
Kelvin Sampson walking away from official Ted Valentine.
It's amazing with 10 turnovers in the first half, you know, not playing very well on the defensive end. Here's SMU, just 5 points from the lead. And so credit SMU with a very resilient first half.
11 turnovers for SMU, but another one here for Houston.
It's the 3rd consecutive turnover for Houston.
Got a traveling party here, Reed Guinness.
Yeah, well, it's gotten really ugly in the last couple of minutes. But I tell you what, Jamal McMurray's lucky they called a travel, because he hooked with that right elbow, and that could have been an offensive foul.
Bring your passport tonight to the PETA Center.
Yeah, a lot of traveling.
Well, just a little bit. A TSA pre-check required. Here's Giroux inside to White. And we got a foul. Foul on Ethan Shagwa for SMU. And that is the 6th team foul. Here's Fabian White. One of the main reasons that Kelvin Sampson very encouraged about what's coming next season, despite the departures of these seniors. We saw it before the game, the emotion from Kelvin Sampson. You had Galen Robinson, Corey Davis, Breon Brady, Landon Gosling with their friends and family being honored before the game. It's always a question, do you do that before the game? Do you do it after the game?
What do you think?
I say wait.
Yeah.
But if you lose, do people hang around?
Yeah.
You might as well just get it out of the way.
Yeah, then you're in a crappy mood. Who wants to celebrate, right? Hey, it's a cool night. But the challenge is always how quick can you get past the surge of emotions and get back to playing basketball.
Hitting inside to White. Can't connect. Give him a rebound and give him a putback.
Now, this is a typical Houston offensive game. All threes and at the rim.
Kelvin Sampson saying in that loss to UCF, he felt we got away from our center. Our center being defense, but specifically rebounding. He said that's where it shows up the most. And they've been suffering on that end the last few games, according to Kelvin Sampson. That's 2 on Fabian White. So these practices this week have been all about returning to center, the DNA, the culture of this program, and those practices have been fairly intense.
Including 2 hours before this game. Just not your average shoot-around walkthrough on the day of a game.
And he didn't care if you're a senior or a freshman, or it's just another day of the week for Kelvin Sampson.
You and I went from sitting down on the court, and we moved up a few rows.
Thank goodness for that second deck here at the Fertitta Center. Giroux off the glass.
Dejan Giroux has the ability to just slip and slither and bend his body and get to the rim almost at will.
68% over his last few games. Had a couple of turnovers late against UCF, but making up for it here. How about McMurray?
Now with 9 points.
Giroux, here's Hinton flying in for the rebound. To Brooks for 3.
That is a backbreaker. The offensive rebound, kick out 3.
Brooks has attempted 4 threes. He has made 4 threes. A lot of offensive weapons here for this Houston team. Shagwa and 1. They can get you on the inside. They can get you on the outside.
Dejan Giroux sliding
on SMU. 2:54 to go here in this first half. Bench points for Houston. Just about depth and talent. Houston 16 love in those bench points versus SMU.
Ramani Brooks is a perfect, you mentioned it, 4 for 4 from the three-point line, but the rest of the team 0 for 6. Man, turnovers are the story of this first half. 13 turnovers for the Mustangs.
Only 12 combined turnovers the last time these two teams met. And SMU has 13 to their name.
Well, you're on the road against the number 12 team in the country. In the first half, you're a minus 21 in points off turnovers.
Houston does not give you an inch.
No.
The screen from Mike. Jamal McMurray. They're going to need a bunch of that tonight.
Well, he's been great. I'm surprised Corey Davis keeps going underneath that screen on Jamal McMurray, and that's about the 3rd time he's stopped in the pocket and buried a jump shot. At some point, you gotta quit going underneath it. Get up on the top and push him away from it.
He can hit threes. As Hinton can't get the roll. Tried to be saved there by Brady, and it is to Giroux.
Giroux got away with a push with his right arm.
Davis.
And interesting, Nate Hinton turns down a wide open 13-foot shot at the elbow to kick it out to Corey Davis for a 24-foot shot.
That's what they do in Houston. They want threes, right? That's what they do in this city.
You get to the rim or shoot a three.
8 on the shot clock. Shagwa for 3. Wow.
His second three-pointer, that one was deep. He's got Shagwa.
He's got 13. 1 minute to go here in this first half. SMU still within shouting distance. McMurray. Yes.
Now, what's interesting, SMU has been at their best when they're not even trying to run their sets, right? Coming down in transition before the defense gets set up and just taking the first good look they get at the basket.
SMU scored 55 or fewer points in each of their last 3 games. They got 37. But Davis with another long-range bomb. He's in double figures. Spot in the West. Our coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern on ESPN and in the ESPN app. This is a split-second differential from shot clock and game clock. SMU going to hold for 1. They've scored on their last 5 possessions. Anybody but McMurray putting this shot up?
If so, they didn't pay attention during the timeout.
Dixon. The handoff to McMurray. 5 on the game clock. Off the back of the iron. Tip, no. McMurray and did not get that shot off, and it wouldn't have mattered. Well, we've had 13 combined made three-point.
Gave up 21 points off of turnovers. They got dominated bench points, and then you look up and SMU's only down 9. I'll tell you what, I think Tim Jankovic is about as pleased as he could be going into the locker room.
I'm not a body language expert.
Yeah, but that didn't look so good.
Kelvin Sampson did not seem very pleased, obviously, with that look there on the bench. The tie is loosened. We'll see how long it takes for the tie to come off here as we begin this second half. Jamal McMurray had 15 in the first half to lead all scorers. Here's Foster.
Picking up right where they left off, knocking down threes.
8 of 11 now, 72% from 3. The layman would say that's unsustainable, but don't tell that to SMU. They're 1 for 1 early in the second half. Here's McMurray, 6-point lead for Houston. Foster again, that one a little strong. Heat check.
Yeah, you know, an early heat check. I'm not sure there was any reason for that other than SMU hasn't been at their best when they're running their sets. It's when they've taken shots in transition.
Shagwa trying to get that rebound. A foul on the floor on SMU. Well, a chance tonight for Houston to lock up a share of the American Athletic Conference regular season crown after Cincinnati lost to UCF tonight. Boy, UCF back-to-back wins over ranked teams and a chance at the 2 seed.
Remember, they were picked in the preseason polls unanimously to be the favorite to win the league title this season.
There's Houston closing out the regular season on Sunday on the road at Cincinnati. Fabian White with the bucket.
Look, the key to the second half for SMU is going to be those turnovers. They only average 11 turnovers per game. They had 13 in the first half. But those 11 per game, that's with Jimmy Witt playing, one of, if not their best ball handler over there in street clothes with a hurt shoulder this evening.
Yeah, how much of the turnovers attributed to the fact that not only are you without your point guard, but your backup point guard isn't playing either?
Yeah, we asked Tim Jankovic, who's going to run point? He goes, whoever's got the ball. Bring it down, and you're the point this time down. 14 points now for Armani Brooks.
The juniors had a nice night. Davis, the senior, with 10. Nearly another turnover. That would have been number 14 for the Mustangs. Matt Dixon, he just struggles shooting that shot.
Didn't look good and didn't look confident.
3 of 22 from 3 over his last 8 games. And he's missed both efforts here in the second half.
SMU comes into this game. They are 10th in the American in three-point field goal percentage.
Davis. And one.
Well, let me tell you something. That is a lightning quick release with a 6'8" athletic Isaiah Mike right in his face. And talk about not much daylight at all. Corey Davis, super quick release.
This is a team that is so good defensively, but they've got guys who can hit those shots. This is not a one-trick pony type of team. You got Davis and Brooks, two of the leading three-point shooters in the league.
One of the most common things you hear from coaches after they've played Houston is, look, this is a team that can beat you in all three facets. They're good enough offensively to outscore you. Defensively, they can choke the life out of you. And then if none of those aspects are working, they can just pound the daylights out of you on the boards.
Jaguar no good on the three. The 8-0 run for Houston. Taking the wind out of the Mustang sails here in the early goings, 2 minutes into this second half. Brooks for three.
Good rebound.
Brady. Davis.
You got to call a timeout. That is the third time we've seen an offensive rebound kick out three, and that is just a dagger of a play. An outstanding start to the second half for the Houston Cougars, lead up to 17. Corey Davis with 2 threes coming out of the locker room. 4 daggers of three-point field goals in the second half. 17 points now, 4 for 9 from behind the three-point line, and he was equally good the first time these two teams played each other.
He had 20 points, 15 in the second half, and as that video would indicate, he can play a pretty mean air guitar. 17-point lead for the Cougs.
But look, here's what makes Houston so tough, right? So they didn't play great defense in the first half. They played good offense. They come out the second half, and they are really shooting the ball. The defense is locked down. But the rebounding, Nate Hinton and his teammates now rebounding over 50% of their missed shots. They have missed 17 field goals, and they have 9 offensive rebounds.
Talking about those missed shots, that's what they want. 50% of their missed shots. That is something that they've been subpar with over the last couple of games, according to Kelvin Sampson. Foul on the floor.
You look over on the other side of the ledger, SMU with 1 offensive rebound.
Tie still on, although fairly loose. Kelvin Sampson. Shirt is still buttoned. That might be the biggest upset of the night, is that top collar is still fastened. Brady gets that one stripped. Here comes Jamal McMurray. The crossover off glass. Yes.
Oh, what a release and finish. A beautiful crossover to get to the rim, but the release point, he puts that ball way outside of his right shoulder to create separation, get that ball up on the rim, and a really nice finish by Jamal McMurray.
Murray's got 17. They're hoping to get him a waiver, to get him another year. Only played a few games at USF, South Florida, the year that he transferred, so we'll see if that eventually comes through. That would be a great coup for Tim Jankovic. Jamal McMurray's got 18.
He's been up over 10 times this season, and almost a certain to make that 11.
Point lead for Houston. They saw their 33-game home court win streak snapped on Saturday against UCF. Trying to start another one. Look at Brooks skying for that rebound.
10 offensive rebounds.
Robinson, yes.
Almost an identical play from what we saw Jamal McMurray on the other end of the court. Galen Robinson driving, making contact with his left shoulder.
He said, if Kelvin Sampson, if Houston were in New Hampshire, I would have gone to New Hampshire, because Kelvin Sampson, he just said, he grabbed my attention when he was recruiting me. He said, you are going to earn everything you get. I'm not going to give you anything. And if you earn it, they can't take it away from you. If I give it, it can be taken away. And he's been playing ever since he was a freshman, starting.
And he has earned it through some tough love from his coach. He started out, boy, this first year, I would not have guessed that he would be the face of the program for this rebuild by Kelvin Sampson. But that is exactly what he has become.
Looking for his 98th win. Second most in program history. If he can get it tonight. And look at this list. Consecutive 100 assist seasons or more. Galen Robinson with 4. Derek Daniels. Who's that guy? Ride Giedis? Who is that?
That's a guy that played with some really, really good teammates. But only 2 guys have had 4 consecutive seasons of over 100 assists. Galen will finish in the top 3. Only Mike Young has won more games than
here
Galen
we go.
Robinson.
Reed Giddis.
Holy smokes, there was no need for that. That high definition's not all it's cracked up to be.
Oh, we dumped out of it. There were like 7 more pictures. We brought the whole family scrapbook.
I missed all the ones of the dunks. Where were those?
I don't know why they had to put your points per game on there.
Yeah, that was anticlimactic. Talk about losing credibility when I talk about some kid needs to shoot.
Brooks nearly got that one to fall. 3 Final Fours and 3 points per game. I mean, look, take the Final Fours, right? Take the
Boys and girls, when you see those numbers, there's no future in passing.
Bryson Gresham says there's a future in blocking. Puts that one out of bounds. They just come at you in waves, whether it's Breon Brady or Fabian White. Bryson Gresham, the depth can take this program a long way. They've been labeled as a Final Four contender. Are you leery of that? Do you buy that as a team, as a guy who's seen this team many, many times?
Well, that was a compound question. And so, are they capable of that? Absolutely. Does it make me cringe when somebody says it? Absolutely, it makes me cringe. Listen, to get to a Final Four, you've got to be really, really good, and you also got to be lucky. You got to get some breaks. And so what these kids need to do is focus on winning this game, win the American, go to the American Conference Tournament, win that, and then go see how long you can play. But look, just because you're good and you have talent, it doesn't translate into getting to a Final Four.
Yeah, just think about it. We think, yeah, this is a Final Four team. It could be. Yeah, it certainly could. But was anyone saying that about Loyola Chicago last year? Was anyone saying it about Kansas State last year? And crazy things happen in the tournament.
And were people saying it about Virginia?
Right.
Yeah, you know, so look, everyone talks about the success that we had. We won the Southwest Conference Tournament one year, and Akeem Olajuwon banked 2 free throws in to win the game off the backboard. It takes some luck, too.
Galen Robinson trying to get that one to a teammate. Kelvin Sampson can't watch as Jamal McMurray. Yes. Still hanging around here.
They
it's
are.
A 10-point game.
And they have been at their best in transition when Jamal McMurray and his teammates do not have to set up and run their offense. And boy, if I'm Tim Jankovich, I tell my guys I want a shot in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock.
9 made threes for SMU. McMurray's got 21. But every time SMU makes a run, Houston answers right back. That's Nate Hinton. $18 combined made threes tonight. McMurray. A little too strong. Here's Hinton with a head of steam. Draws the foul.
Yeah, how strong is that? Nate Hinton gets a rebound. He's underneath the rim, and he outruns all 9 guys on the floor and gets to the opposite rim before anybody else. That's just want to. And that's a mental toughness to run the floor that hard.
Yeah, this is a freshman, 4-star coming out of high school, a kid who had some accolades, and another reason for that optimism of not just this year but the years to come. And Kelvin Sampson saying, I want him to lead the league in floor burns, hustle plays, become a good rebounder. I mean, the DNA of Houston is being injected into his veins here this year, and he's going to be a great one in years to come.
High energy, high motor, and high character. He is a perfect kid to continue to build on what Kelvin has done the last 2 years. Look, he was the preseason freshman of the year pick, and he's not going to win freshman of the year because he's got Armani Brooks and he's got Corey Davis and he's got Galen Robinson in front of him, but he has met every expectation that this coaching staff had for this young man. He is going to have a great career.
He has scored the last 7 points for Houston. A foul here on Armani Brooks.
If you're SMU, don't you just abandon your offensive sets? You just spread the floor out, give it to McMurray, let him come down and let it fly and turn this into more of a free-flowing game.
9 of 16 from 3. Here's Mike inside, and draws the foul there on Bryson Gresham. Isaiah Mike will go to the line for a pair in a 15-point game.
He's had a very good sophomore season. At one point had back-to-back double-doubles against UCF and Temple. And had 15 points against the Cougars in their first meeting. 6'8" sophomore out of Ontario.
Transfer from Duquesne, sat out last year. Gresham takes a seat with those 4 fouls and gets a little more coaching from Kelvin Sampson. Each team has made 9 threes tonight. Hinton looking for his 10th, forgot the basketball. Lost it again. Shagwa in traffic and draws the foul on Hinton. Houston with a 14-point lead, leaning on their freshman here for the last few possessions.
Now they continue.
Houston looking for a much more uplifting finish to the season this time around. Kelvin Sampson saying that he's been around a lot of losing locker rooms before, but none like that one. He used the phrase wailing. There was just deep wailing and sadness in the locker room after that loss to Michigan last year. You look at where they're projected here with a 3 seed. Cincinnati with a 7, UCF again with an 8. That's according to our bracketologist, Joe Lenardi. One thing that Kelvin Sampson said, he took deep solace and inspiration from what Tony Bennett had to say after Virginia lost to UMBC, where he watched Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett talked about how he had a team he didn't mind losing with. And Kelvin Sampson used that phrase earlier this year, and I didn't know it was from Tony Bennett. And I asked him about it today, and he said, yeah, having a team that you don't mind losing with. You can win with guys, but can you lose with guys? Guys that can rebound, high character guys. And Tony Bennett being a former Washington State guy, and obviously Kelvin as well. They've been friends for a long time, and he just said he drew a lot of inspiration from that.
What an interesting perspective, right? Guys that you can lose with. And look, that clip, I don't want to say that was a lucky shot. But listen, that's what I was talking about earlier, right? If you're going to get to the Final Four, you need some breaks. You need to have some calls go your way, some travels that don't get called. And you got to make some shots. And whether it's a freshman for Kelvin Sampson or John Beilein, and I cannot wait to see how the American Conference does in the NCAA tournament. 4 teams should be in.
If I'm Kelvin Sampson's tie right now, I am writing my last will and testament, making sure that is sewn up and ready to go.
Right now, it's like a unicorn, right? I've never seen one last that long. It's a mythical creature right now. A tie still on his neck in the second half.
12-point game, and could be some step snow, a foul on the floor.
Look, we're talking a lot about Houston because of where they're positioned and where we think their season may go, but give SMU some credit. I mean, they come in here, they don't have a point guard. They don't have a backup point guard. They've been slinging the ball all over the court. 13 turnovers in the first half. They gave up 21 points off turnovers, and they are hanging around in this basketball game.
Think about it. They've had the last couple of years 5 season-ending injuries, a couple of players leaving early for the pros. Again, looking at another kid who's out tonight, and Jimmy Witt Jr., their point guard, who's averages 12 a game, 4 assists per game, leading rebounder on the team. He's sitting.
And he's second in the American Athletic Conference in assist to turnover ratio and second in minutes per game. That's how important Jimmy Witt is to this SMU basketball team.
This is the 47th time as Tim Jankovich has been the head coach that they've had 8 or fewer scholarship players available. Helps to have depth. They don't have that tonight, but they're only down 10. Brady just checked in and pays dividends.
Well, that was outstanding execution. The shooters have that zone defense spread out so wide that Breon Brady just ducked in with his right shoulder, and that was too easy.
He started every game he's played since he's been here. Looked like McMurray landed. Shagwa might have taken a step. No. And it'll be Houston ball.
Houston's at their best when the ball is swinging from side to side. And look at that zone defense, how spread out it is. Those wings coming all the way up, free throw line extended. And then look how easy the entry pass is to Breon Brady. And that's coming from the top of the key, beyond the three-point line, right down the middle of that zone.
Speaking in the middle of that zone, there's Mr. Robinson. What do you do then on that zone when they keep eating up the middle of it?
Well, in a 2-3 zone, that's X5. So the center, the big guy's got to step up and take that away, or the offside guard. The problem is you've got to have your offside guys spread out on the wing to those shooters. And that's why it's so difficult to run a 2-3 zone against Houston.
Ron Hunt with a crafty shot off the glass. 12-point game for Houston. Davis. Strong rebound from Mike. See if they can get it into single digits with a 3. Mike off the glass. Draws contact. Brooks disagreeing with the call.
Tim Jankovich over there giving his guys daps, saying, keep it going. Keep it going. We're in striking distance. And credit Tim. I mean, they've adjusted. They're not running much offense. There's not a lot of screens, not a lot of down screens, no cross screens. They're just getting the ball and going.
And how many turnovers did they have in the first half?
Well, they had 13 at halftime.
They have 1 in the second half. That'll allow you to get back into a game.
Well, look, and part of that will say if you're not passing the ball, you're just coming down and you're shooting it. They only have 7 assists on 19 made field goals, but that's what's working. And so Jankovich has found something to give his team a chance.
Got ourselves a 10-point game, less than 9 minutes to go. Tim Jankovich's club, again, 3 straight losses. They've lost 8 of 9. It's a team that lost at UCF by 47 points. Man. Worst loss in program history, and here they are hanging with the leaders of the American. Small McMurray with some active hands, knocks it out of bounds, and he'll stay here.
Houston goes away from Breon Brady. He gets the ball. He scores almost every time he touches it, 2 or 3 times, and then they just stop looking for him. And they need to continue to slam that ball inside to him.
That'll be a foul here on Jamal McMurray. There's only 4 seconds on that shot clock. So a reset now to 20 with the foul. And for McMurray, that is 4.
Cedric Alley into the game for Houston for the first time.
Giroux.
Dejan Giroux is now 10 for 18 from behind the line in American Athletic Conference games. In non-conference, he was 1 for 25.
Some scouts on hand to check out Mr. Giroux tonight.
You know, it's interesting. In November, I was at a practice. Kevin Sampson told me he thought by the end of February, Dejan Giroux would be his best player. He has not been his best player, but he's been really, really good. What's your role on the team? Yeah, I'm the tie dude. I'm the dude that gets the tie. A lot of people that think that tie yanking off cost Houston a ball game at Temple earlier this season. Kelvin Sampson got a technical for it. Well, it could have been that, and Temple played a really, really good game.
Part of that. That's part of that.
There was that part too.
I'm wondering how long he'll keep that top button. Because that is a kind of a fashion faux pas. My wife wouldn't let me out of the house like that. 21 points for Shagwa and McMurray here for SMU. And it's an 11-point game here. 7:35 to go. Robinson left wide open. Brady tries to tip that one, but it comes to SMU. Bucket here would be big for the Mustangs. Shagwa.
That's got to be a travel.
Looked like he did not get that ball off on a pass before his feet return to the floor.
Coming out of that last timeout, Jankovic with an adjustment, now in a 1-3-1 zone. Going to be a challenge to cover the corners, but it takes away that middle that Houston was attacking so well.
So how do you attack this if you're Houston?
Diagonally, and you got to swing the ball diagonally to the corners, and really hard for that guy on the baseline to go side to side.
Good close out there. Foster to Davis. Giroux to the rim, and the foul.
That's part of the problem. You're running a 1-3-1. The guy that's got corner responsibilities on the baseline, so he goes sprinting out there, and he doesn't close out under control, and then hard to rotate over and get outside of the restricted arc in time.
Yeah, those feet well within the arc for William Douglas of SMU. And again, gets to single digits. Now an and one here for Giroux. Eight points for Giroux, 14 for Brady, 14 for Brooks, 17 for Corey Davis Jr., the senior. Foster falls to the floor, and there will be a foul going the other way. Trey Foster's got a bunch of family and friends in town here. He went to North Shore High School. Houston native. Picks up the foul, and now Breon Brady to the line to work on his 14-point night.
Ooh, that was ugly. Well, you got to come when you're shooting free throws. I'm a big believer. You got to come up on your toes and extend your body. Never on a basketball court, anywhere else, do you shoot a shot where your heels are stuck on the ground.
Maybe the ball's just not carrying very well tonight. Mike for three. Foster hustling cross court for that rebound.
Shagwa was open.
Ron Hunt turned down the three, gets the two and the foul. Tim Jankovic appreciating that call from official Joe Lindsay.
Well, may have been the right call, but it was a late call. Corey Davis doing a really nice job getting in front of his man, moving his feet and playing belly up defense. And
you made a sigh there. It was a bodily noise.
Well, there was a lot of bumping, right? You could have called a foul at any point where you got in front of him and freedom of movement, but I don't know about that one.
Sports Center tonight, when we wrap things up here with Bucci and Levy, they'll have the latest trade news on Antonio Brown, plus Mookie Betts mic'd up, all access with the World Series champs, and why Murray State's Ja Morant has NBA star potential bigger than his game. Sports Center, 11 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Ja Morant trying to become the first 20-point, 10-assist average per game player since the advent of the three-point line in college. Hinton. Hunt knocked that one out of bounds. Two players going flying into the crowd.
Not sure whether they called a timeout or what, but great hustle going after that loose ball by both guys. Nobody called a timeout. You can't jump over the lane, break the plane, and call a timeout. The officials discussing whose ball it is. Outside of 2 minutes, it cannot be reviewed.
Media credentials don't guarantee safety.
No. Out of that 1-3-1 back into a 2-3. Ushagwa just got hit in the face by Breon Brady.
Hunt tips that one out of bounds. Brooks will inbounds. 19 on the shot clock. Brady backing down. Mike spin off the glass.
Oh boy, made contact with his right shoulder. A beautiful drop step back over his left.
Brady's got 16 on senior night.
Boy, Hinton's open in the corner.
Hinton camping out in the corner, as is Sarmani Brooks. Hinton now runs the baseline. Gives a screen to Brooks. 5 on the shot clock.
Good defense.
Turnover. Here's McMurray throwing it up for Hunt.
Hanging around.
I screamed a little too loud on that. My apologies. Turn down your TVs. 79-68. Houston with the lead, and Brooks, he's got 17.
Well, it seems like every time SMU creeps close, somebody for Houston jumps up and knocks down a 3.
Timeout, SMU. 5 threes for Armani Brooks. Sampson before the game told me this interesting thing that he does with his seniors the night before their final home game, the night before senior night. They have a senior night at his house. And what he does is has all the other players and coaches have a page that they write a paragraph or so for a few minutes about what they like or remember about that certain senior. And they go around the room, as Hunt puts that one in. They go around the room and the players read what they wrote. He said after about halfway through, the senior who's listening to all this starts to get emotional, head in the hands and all that. And he does that to try and get some of that emotion out the night before the game. And then what Kelvin Sampson does, he takes all those pages for each senior. As Brooks buries his 6th 3 of the night, his senior night coming up next year. He's got 20. He takes those pages, puts them in a binder for each player, and gives that as a gift.
Look, that's a super cool thing, right? I mean, so there's a strategy to it, try to take away some of the emotion of tonight, but also what an act of love, right? An affirmation and something these kids will keep with them. These are your brothers, and here's what they say about you and the impact that you made. And that's talking about testimonies and not just titles and game wins. And boy, that is such a cool thing. And you know, it'd be interesting to hear what other coaches do, but man, that is impactful.
Yeah, I was at Kelvin Sampson's house last night. He said it took more than an hour to get through all of those letters and things as they were reading it. And he said, look, I tell the guys, these may not mean a lot to you tonight, tomorrow, the next day, next year, but when you got a family, when you got kids, you go back and you read these things, it'll hit you.
When you asked him, do you write a letter? Right? Or is it your letter? What did he tell you?
I said, do you not take part in this at night? And, you know, write these letters and read them aloud? He said, I can't do it anymore. He said, I used to, and I just get too emotional. And we saw some of that tonight, but he can't get through it.
He said the last time he tried it was Eduardo Nahara.
Eduardo Nahara when he was with Oklahoma.
You know, that's going back a little ways.
Yeah.
That's a few senior nights ago.
And Sampson was essentially kind of a surrogate father to Eduardo Nahara at Oklahoma. Couldn't really speak English all that well, but he had to get a certain score on his ACT and pass the reading English portion of that test. And Sampson helped him along with that, got him into classes to do that. And Nahara eventually passed the end of his first semester and was able to stay instead of going to junior college. And again, when Sampson wound up telling that story and retelling that story to Nahara, he was just broken down into tears.
And that's the story Kelvin Sampson remembers. Not what a great player Eduardo was, not his NBA career. Now he's in a front office and trying to become an NBA coach. That's just a cool story, man.
Trying to put the finishing touches on senior night. Robinson, the senior, hits the deck, and they'll stay SMU ball. This is only the 5th time this season, by the way, Houston's given up 70 or more points. So even in a likely win tonight, more teachable moments going forward as they get set for Cincinnati and then the conference tournament.
Came into the game first in the American Conference, giving up only 63 points per game. That is 5th in the NCAA.
McMurray buries a 3. He's got 24 to lead all scorers in this game.
Well, he has had himself a basketball game. SMU now going man-to-man. No, they're not. Well, half of them are. I think there's some confusion in what they're running.
Robinson driving on McMurray. The senior getting the friendly roll. And the fans will get what they want. They're cheering the students because Landon Gosling, the senior who started tonight, is about to check in with less than 90 seconds to go. Mike buries the J.
Well, SMU's going to have some positives to take away from this game. They have come in. They have not laid down. They had a lot of reasons to give up, and they have fought the entire evening. Tim Jankovic ought to be proud of his kids.
I think Robinson went over to Sampson, asked about a timeout. Sampson said, not yet, run something. Want to get one more bucket here, less than a minute to go. Robinson, the senior, going to take the shot off the glass, the flex and the foul.
Well, that's about the 3rd basket that Galen Robinson has pulled out the guns and showed a strong move to the basket and good finish through contact.
Must have done some push-ups right before the game. That's what I would do. Number 25 flexes. Number 00 is out as he fouls out. Jamal McMurray with 24 points. Landon Gosling into the game. One of 4 seniors here tonight.
Want to take a bet on whether Gosling gets a shot up or not?
I'm not touching
Boy,
that.
he's checking in locked and loaded.
13-point margin, 56 seconds to go. Again, before the game, Gosling, Davis, Robinson, and Brady getting the framed jerseys along with some pictures, their families, and just the emotion from Kelvin Sampson during the ceremonies.
I'm telling you, he just had, they played a clip up on the big screen of him talking about each kid, and boy, he just had tears pouring down his face.
You know, he coaches these kids hard.
Yep.
And he says, you know, I love him so much. I can coach him that hard. He's a big teddy bear as well. When it comes to some of these moments. 13-point game. Mike, no, but a foul on Brooks, and if it's Brooks, that'll be his 4th. 13-point game, 43 seconds to go. We've been keeping track. With the tie, I mean, without the tie, 6 of 8 from the floor. It's not bad. Now the top collar is officially unbuttoned. But 6:52 now.
You looked at me like I had an analytical comment about that.
Look, we brought you here to analyze.
What is it you wanted me to say?
Time to honor the seniors one more time at home. Breon Brady getting a hug from his coach. Corey Davis Jr. and Galen Robinson will be the next to check out. strategy involved. You got to save enough timeouts to get them all out individually, right?
Yeah, you know, after the horn,
got 3 left.
Yeah, after the horn goes off, you can't substitute again, so you're going to have to call a timeout.
What a night for Breon Brady. 16 points, 7 of 8 from the floor, 6 rebounds. Davis with 17, Robinson with 11 and 5. Couldn't ask for a better performance on a senior night with your family in town.
You know, everybody's all smiles at the end of this one.
And again, it's the end of something, but the beginning of something else.
Yeah, that's right.
The postseason is about to begin.
And look, I don't want to get away from how impressed I have been with SMU. I mean, I thought in the first half, SMU should have been down by 20. They just shot the lights out. They fought hard. They needed to take care of the ball better in the second half. They did. Only 1 turnover in the second half, and they competed the entire ball game.
Hey, you tell Tim Jankovic before the game, you're going to shoot 53% from the floor, 52 from 3, and 83 from the line.
I'll take that.
You take that.
Yeah, no doubt.
8 days a week.
Okay.
SMU looking for that 9 or 10 seed, likely coming up in the conference tournament, as Corey Davis Jr. checks out to Hugs.
We need to get one more dead ball to get Galen out.
And a timeout. Kelvin Sampson wanting the timeout, and we'll get the final senior. Pretty cool moment there for Galen Robinson. His grandma, grandpa, his mom, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles. Says it's been a love story between he and this program. That would be SMU ball.
He was a legacy kid.
Yeah.
Galen Robinson, senior, played back in the early 90s. I was a graduate assistant here when his dad, 6'9" power forward, big thick kid, had a very nice career, played overseas for a few years. Now this night becomes complete for the seniors if Landon Gosling can get a shot up.
Landon Gosling had a couple of points against SMU the last time these two teams faced off, and that would be a nice outing here to finish that way with a bucket. We'll see if he can get this shot off. Gosling, but he's fouled.
He has not been very good shooting the ball this year, but he has been really good at drawing fouls, and a good free throw shooter. Shoots 74%, but has been to the free throw line 35 times this season.
Love the guy who's 2 of 19 from 3 on the season. Let's bury that 3 instead. The 74% free throw shooter will go to the line and try and get into the scoring column here on senior night.
Watch the bench if he hits one of these.
Watch the bench. The bench was dying on that last attempt. Get your knees into it. Some smiles from the assistant coaches as well. Gosling with a point. And senior night's not over yet. Well, Houston's going to have a game against Cincinnati on Sunday, and that will be a winner-take-all. Winner is the #1 seed in the American Athletic Conference tournament. So this is certainly a nice tune-up, a lot to work on and learn from this one. But it's Cincy and Houston Sunday.
It's going to be a basketball game. You know, Kelvin Sampson says the first time they played Cincinnati was the last time he thought they played as hard as they could possibly play. And boy, that was a slugfest in that game.
Houston clinching a share with a win tonight. Gosling, no. Trying to get it back to him. Off the side of the backboard and out of bounds. Oh, they did whatever they could. And how about Gosling going to get one more round of applause?
You talk about wanting to get a shot, get up off the ground.
He nearly was out of bounds.
Yeah, I know. Almost got the ball on the wrong side of the backboard. A fun night.
Yeah.
A very popular kid with his teammates.
Senior night gets Houston back on track.